Hello, my name is Daniel M. Nolan. I'm a 6th-degree black belt in the art of Tang Soo Do, way of the China hand. The following tapes took a lot of effort and concentration. In the tapes you will learn basic movements, combination movements, one-step fighting techniques, sparring, stretching, self-defense, and of course the many numerous forms in Tang Soo Do. I would like to stress the importance of the forms because they are the backbone of all martial arts systems. Each tape is designed to help you improve your technique or to even add on to your technique. It is my wish that you follow the tapes very closely with safety in first all the time. Again, I wish to thank all my students who helped me out in the tapes and those of you who are at home observing the tapes. Again, in your training, be very consistent and give it all the effort you can. Once more, I wish to thank you for observing my videotapes, and if you have any questions concerning Tang Soo Do, you can always contact me through Panther Productions. Kamsahamnida.
The mental attitude that a person should have when they are sparring is first to keep in mind that sparring in itself is not real life. People assume whenever they go into a martial arts school that they are seeing people out there sparring and assume that they are beating each other up, throwing full-blown techniques, really smashing bones and such. That's not the case. Sparring is a game. It is a tool that one uses both in partners whenever they are sparring to better the techniques, their hand-eye coordination, their speed and mobility, all the techniques from the forms, the combinations, one-steps, the whole techniques that comprise the style that they're learning, to use it in a free-flowing motion, unabided by patterns. What sparring is not, again, is going out and destroying the person that is standing in front of you. Of course, everyone would line up in jail if they did so. So, in this tape, we are trying to make you a better sparrer, and I hope that the techniques that you'll be seeing will do just that. They are to add to your system, not to take the place of anyone or any master. They're first in your sparring training. Now, a few things to keep in mind. While you're sparring, the first thing you want to keep in mind is the honoring of technique. That is this. It's a simple process, and it must be upheld. When a person is sparring and the person lands a good blow to a vital target, I'm not talking a target to the leg or the foot or whatever, I'm talking to the good midsection, throat, face. For a split second, the person is to back off. Split second, that's all it takes. And discontinue their advance. After that point, they continue on. It is not like in the tournament kumite. It is not like that. You simply recognize the person through a valid technique, and you discontinue your immediate advance. This makes it known that you are taking account that if it was a full-blown technique, it would have done damage. Secondly, walking without a shadow. The martial arts schools that are around everywhere in every city, there is one thing that has no place in that, and that is anger, that is jealousy, that is any of the emotions that cause you to walk with a shadow. There's a very old concept. Walking without a shadow is doing nothing that would make you regret anything that you have done or thought are acted upon in a martial arts school. For instance, I'm sparring, a person lands a heavy blow by accident, knocks the wind out of me. If I take it from that point on and then decide for revenge, I'm going to get him back. I've just created something that's going to haunt me. Do not do anything to disgrace your style or yourself. That is walking without a shadow. Okay, a couple other ideas that are used in the martial arts is the mind like water. Mind like water is a very, very vital way of thinking when a person is sparring. If you can picture your mind being still, like a pond. When water is still, it is reflective. It's just like a mirror. Anything that passes within its spectrum, whether it be clouds or trees, it's immediately looked at and accurate. Now, if a leaf drops in it or wind, you can see the distortion. That's the way the mind is. When you're sparring, your mind is to be still, completely reflective of what is in front of you. You cannot spar well with ideas of attack, defense. If he does this, I'll do that. Your mind has got to be still, clear, reflective of actual images that are in front of you. It cannot be, if he throws a side kick, I'm going to block it, and then I'm going to do this. There's the distortion. You will not be reacting on the actual techniques coming in. That is mind like water, a still mind. And lastly, mind like moon. Mind like moon is letting your mind and your eyes see everything equally. You do not look, as so many movies show you to, at the fingers or the hands or the eyes or the feet. You look at nothing, but you see everything equally, just like the light of the moon shines on the ground equally on everything. Even when the shadows cast from a tree or a bush or even a cloud, the moon does not change its position. It simply is and sees all that is what is in its encompass. Whenever you're throwing this, using this idea, make sure that you're seeing everything equally, but you're not looking at any one point specifically. That is mind like moon. Chariot, kicking yet, Anjo. Kicking yet, Charanga say, Shija. While sparring on both knees, you'll see that the techniques they're throwing, they have to cover themselves up a lot more than they normally would because mobility is now not an option. The techniques that they have to throw at this point have got to be going toward vital targets. A technique thrown in the wind is useless other than to open yourself up for your opponent's next strike. Control and honoring technique, as I said, is always a vital part of sparring. Paro! Kicking yet? Consumida. Chariot, kicking yet, Anjo. This is an offense-defense set on both knees. Your offense, defense, kicking yet, Sharangase, Shija. Utilizing this, it forces a person that they have to block. They have no option to attack back. Change, Hana! It's surprising how hard this can actually be whenever you do not have the assets of moving around and having your legs to help you out. Haro! Kicking yet? Consumida. Chariot. Kicking yet. Anjo. In this set, you will be fighting right arm to right arm only. Tuck the left arm behind you. Kicking yet. Chairanga se. Shija. To further the advancement of any dan or practitioner in any art, this right here adds a new obstacle to sparring. One-arm sparring is very, very difficult. Again, you've got to pick and choose of what strikes and what blows that you're going to throw, and you have to pick what you're going to throw it at. Paro! Kicking yet. Komslamida. Chariot. Kicking yet. Hanjo. This is sparring. Left hand only. Tuck the right arm behind you. Kicking yet. Chairanga se. Shija. To most right-handers, the left hand can be somewhat of a hindrance, but it also is very much a part of you. You have to learn how to fight with it, defend with it, as well as you do your right. Paro! Kicking yet. Komsamaya. Chariot. Kicking yet. Anjo. Okay, sparring. Blindfolded, eyes closed. Touching, right hand, right hand. Shija. Sparring in the dark is very much more difficult than standard sparring. You'll notice the contact that they're having to maintain on the arms. If you can feel an arm, at least you know where it's at. Good shot. Paro! Kicking yet. Whenever the sparring is being done with blindfolds, the control and the focus has got to be very much keyed up. Kamsahamnida. Chariot, kicking yet, Anjo. You are defensive, offensive, offensive. 2 attackers, 1 defender. Kicking yet. Shijak. Hey. Ho! Outstanding. Kicking yet. Komsamnida. Chariot. Kicking yet. Anjo. Left knee up. Sparring, left knee, lead leg. Kicking yet. Shijang. Honoring technique. Good. Focus. Change legs. Hana! Go. Good blocks. Pow! Kicking yet. 감사합니다. Chariot, kicking yet. Anjo, left knee up. Okay. All right. Tuck the right arm. Okay. At this time, okay, kicking yet. And shijab. Make sure your techniques are going to vital targets. Good counter. Outstanding. Change. Go. Continue. Pow. And kicking yet. 감사합니다. Kicking yet. Out. Anjo, left knee up. Okay. Your offense, your defense. You are attacking, you are defending, blocking only. Kicking yet. Shijab. Change attack. Go. You attack. Hana. Oh. Kicking yet. Consolida. Chariot, kicking yet. Anjo, left knee up. Your offense, both to attack. Kicking yet. Shijak. Good blocks. Yells, good yells. Sound off there. Attack. Haro. Kicking yet. 감사합니다. Chariot, kicking yet. Ready stance. Hana. Okay, offense, defense. Sharanga say, shijak. This is from a stationary position. The feet are not allowed to be moved. Keep the blocks in tight. Make sure your technique is going somewhere. Make sure the technique is going toward a target. Change attack. Hana! Valid technique. Paro! Chariot, kicking yet. Komstomida. Chariot, tension, kicking yet. And chombi. Okay, tuck the left arm behind you. Right arm only sparring, leaving the feet stationary. Shijak. Paro. Change arms, tuck the other hand, left arm forward, left arm sparring, feet stationary. Shijak. Paro. Chariot, kicking yet. Komstomida. Chariot, kicking yet. Sparring, blindfolds, both hands, feet stationary. Chombi. And Shijak. Feel where the person is at. Yells. Sound off. Paro. Kicking yet. Komstomida. Chariot, kicking yet. Two attackers, you defend, and Shijak. Beautiful. Good. Paro. Chariot, kicking yet. Komstomida. Kicking yet. Right leg back, back stance. First, lead jab, front snap kick, rear leg, down. Full speed. Number two, lead jab, turn kick, and down. Full speed. Number three, lead jab, side kick, and down. Full speed. Number four, lead jab, spinning, back kick, and down. Full speed. And return. Number five, lead, back fist, sliding, lead leg, front snap kick. Full speed, and return. Next, lead hand, back fist, sliding, lead, turn kick, and down. Full speed. Moving on, lead, back fist, sliding, lead leg, side kick, and down. Full speed, and return. And lastly, lead, back fist, sliding side kick, spinning back kick. Back fist, sliding side kick, spinning back kick, and down. Full speed. Kicking it. Không xong rồi đã. Kicking it. Back with the right leg back stance. Starting off with, coming through, lead leg, front snap kick, back fist, close punch. Full speed. And back. From here, sliding in, lead leg, turn kick, back fist, reverse punch. Full speed. Repeating that one. From here, sliding in, lead leg, turn kick, back fist, reverse punch. Full speed. And return. Slowly now from here, sliding in, lead leg, side kick, dropping back fist, reverse punch. Full speed. Slowly, sliding in, lead leg, axe kick, back fist, close punch. Full speed. Paro. And shoot. Không sao bây giờ. Kicking it. Back with the right leg, back stance. Front snap kick, rear leg, and return. Chain stance. Hello. Chain stance. Hello. Turn kick, rear leg. Chain stance. Hello. Chain stance, hello. Side kick, rear leg and return. Chain stance, hello. Chain stance, hello! Axe kick, rear leg. Chain stance, hello! Chain stance, hello! Angular kick. Chain stance, hello! Chain stance, hello! Pichagi. Chain stance, hello! Chain stance, hello! Hooking heel kick, rear leg. Chain stance, hello! Chain stance, hello! Front kick, turn kick. Chain stance, hello! Chain stance, hello! Turn kick, side kick. Chain stance, hello! Chain stance, hello! Low high turn kick. Change it. Hut. Hana. Change. Hut. Low high side kick. Change. Change, go. Heel kick, turn kick. Change, go. Change, go. Parou. 감사합니다. Get it. Right side forward. Hana. Hiya! Hi-saw! Right. Kicking it. Left side forward. Hiya! I-saw! 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 Hiya! Nice! I saw! Oh yeah! I saw! Hiya! I saw! Hiya! Nice! Taking it. 감사합니다. Chariot, kicking it. Feet only, no hands. Put the hands in the belt. Charangase, Shijan. Face! Kicking it. 감사합니다. Chariot, kicking it. Sharangase, 시작! 어이사! 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 타임! Chariot, kicking it. 감사합니다. Chariot, kicking it. 장세 시작! 어이사! 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 어이스! 어이스! 어야! 어이사! 타임! Chariot, kicking it. 감사합니다. Chariot, kicking it. 잘하세요. 시작! 어이사! 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 아야! 어이사! Time! Good job. Chariot! Taking it! Tang Soo Do.
I hope you observe watching the following videotape. Again, with any videotape, whether it is Tang Soo Do or any other martial art, supplement that tape with your existing knowledge in the martial arts. Again, keep in mind that when you're practicing this martial art or any martial art, safety should always come first. So hopefully you will again continue your study of Tang Soo Do through the videotapes. But remember, it is most important to train in a studio or a dojang. Nothing can supplement your training better than in a dojang, but hopefully these tapes that you have just observed will increase your knowledge in the art of Tang Soo Do. Again, I wish you the best of luck in all your martial arts training, and if you ever have to get in touch with me, you can do so through Panther Productions. 감사합니다. Hello, my name is Daniel M. Nolan. I'm a 6th degree black belt in the art of Tang Soo Do, Way of the China Hand. The following tapes took a lot of effort and concentration. In the tapes you will learn basic movements, combination movements, one-step fighting techniques, sparring, stretching, self-defense, and of course the many numerous forms in Tang Soo Do. I would like to stress the importance of the forms because they are the backbone of all martial arts systems. Each tape is designed to help you improve your technique or to even add on to your technique. It is my wish that you follow the tapes very closely with safety in first all the time. Again, I wish to thank all my students who helped me out in the tapes and those of you who are at home observing the tapes. Again, in your training, be very consistent and give it all the effort you can. Once more, I wish to thank you for observing my videotapes, and if you have any questions concerning Tang Soo Do, you can always contact me through Panther Productions. Kamsahamnida. My start in martial arts began when I was in high school between my junior and senior year of that summer. At that time, I saw a demonstration at the San Diego Sports Arena by my future instructor, Master Zhong Li. And I was very impressed with this demonstration, seeing the beauty and the grace of Tang Soo Do and the power and the discipline that went behind it. So at that point, I gave it several weeks of thought, and I went down to his studio and immediately signed up. And Mr. Li has been a great influence in my life, and he will always be remembered as my instructor. Well, again, my first instructor was Master Zhong Li in San Diego, and he originally brought Tang Soo Do to San Diego back in 1962. Mr. Li was in the Korean Marine Corps at the time, and he was stationed with the United States Marine Corps down on 32nd Street. And at that time, he taught a lot of personnel in the Marine Corps Tang Soo Do. And the year that he was in San Diego during that time period, he started off with well over 100 Marines, and at the end of that 12-month period, he promoted 6 to first-degree black belts. Again, Mr. Li was my first instructor, and I was with him for almost 15 years as a student and an instructor. Unfortunately, he passed away several years ago, and I am trying to continue teaching the same way that he taught me. Over the years, of course, I've added on more techniques and made some few subtle changes in the art, but overall the basic structure that I originally learned from Master Li is still the same at my studio, and hopefully that I can pass on these techniques to my students, and in turn they will pass those techniques on to their own students in the future. I first opened up my first professional studio teaching full-time approximately 11 years ago in El Cajon, which is just a little east of downtown San Diego. It's an area that's continually growing, and there was no Tang Soo Do in that area of San Diego when I first opened up. So the school has been very successful, and I've promoted many students to black belts over the years. As far as teaching martial arts, it's very enjoyable. Not only do I enjoy seeing the students grow and attain techniques that they never knew when they first walked in the door, I'm always learning from my students too. So I do not feel that I'm the last expert, or I even have the last word on any of these techniques. By observing some of my students, I incorporate additional techniques into my own teaching experience. But again, it's a real joy, and it's a real, just a real good feeling teaching students and seeing that beginning student walk in the front door without any martial arts experience, and within 3 years, again, seeing that same student testing for their first-degree black belt. It's quite an experience to see that student grow from a white belt all the way up to a black belt level. Well, there are a lot of things that make a good student. Initially, being consistent with your training schedule is very important. And if that student cannot make classes for whatever reason, always have the courtesy to call the instructor and tell your instructor, I cannot make it to class. That's something that I really appreciate that from my point of view, is, again, courtesy. I'm always courteous to all my students, and likewise, I expect that same courtesy back. And again, I wouldn't ask my students to do anything that they couldn't do unless I could do it myself. But again, as a student grows and progresses, I try to give that student some responsibility in the class. And for some of the black belt students, I try to give them some teaching experience. But again, I always feel that a student should be consistent with their training. Of course, there will always be a period where there may be a little time off for personal reasons, what have you. But if a student is very consistent with their training, they cannot help but get better. A good instructor has to know a lot of things. How to deal with people, how to talk with people. I make it a point of never embarrassing a student in front of another group of students. And again, always be respectful of those students, especially the white belt student, because a lot of white belt students come through the door, but maybe 1 out of every 10 will eventually attain a black belt ranking. So as an instructor, you have to be very, very courteous to your new students. And also, I never try to talk, as a matter of fact, I never talk badly about other instructors or other studios. Again, it's not good business sense to degrade a competitor. I try to keep my studio very professional in its approach. And there still has to be a slight distance between student and instructor. I will refer to a student as by their first name, but again, they have to refer to me as Master Nolan. So we're not on a first name basis there, other than me talking to a student and using their first name. You still have to have some space between instructor and student. Well, we just completed a new series of tapes with Panther Production. Prior to this, well over 8 years ago, we did 3 videotapes with Panther Productions. And of course, over the years, we've added on some new techniques. Some new forms have come to light. So with a phasing out of the 3 previous tapes, we have now completed 13 tapes in the Tang Soo Do series. The first tape deals with basic movements, combinations, and stretching. The second tape deals with the first 5 basic forms and fighting form number 1. Tape 2 and 3 covers the Pinyon series and also some of the advanced forms for first degree black belt. Tape 5 and 6 will cover all the second degree black belt forms. 7 and 8 will cover the third degree black belt forms. Tape number 9 will cover the 4th degree black belt forms, and tape number 10 will cover all the 5th degree black belt forms. Tape number 11 is very exciting. It's all the one-step techniques, which include the white belt one-step techniques, the orange belt, green belt one-steps, red belt, 1st degree black belt one-steps, the 2nd degree black belt one-steps, which incorporate a knife, the 3rd degree black belt one-steps, which incorporate the 2 short sticks, and the 4th degree black belt one-steps, which incorporate gun takeaways. And the last 2 remaining tapes are street self-defense techniques and also sparring techniques. The dark blue belt is very unique to Tang Soo Do. Tang Soo Do was established back in 1945 by Grandmaster Huang Qi. It was his philosophy that black belt meant the final quest of your techniques. But instead of having a black belt, we use the traditional navy blue belt. So in other words, once you reach 1st degree black belt, it is not the end of your training. There's always an adding on to that blue belt of new techniques, new forms, new challenges. So in Tang Soo Do, traditionally, instead of the black belt, we have encouraged the students to wear the traditional dark navy blue belt. Again, it is very unique to this style, and I find it very beneficial because, again, it's kind of a humbling experience. You never really achieve perfection. There is always something to learn. And at my studio, we all wear the traditional dark navy blue belts. Well, the future of martial arts can be confusing. Myself, and there are probably many of us, feel that the traditional way is the only way to go. There are other martial arts instructors who feel that the tournament competition is the way to go. There's some pluses and minuses to maybe both philosophies. I have been exposed to both philosophies. Years ago, I did the tournament participation, but I see that in the tournament participation there is a lot of dissatisfaction with the way points are called, etc. And I do not encourage my students to go to tournaments. I leave that up to that particular student. If they want to go and participate in a tournament, fine. If they don't, I do not pressure them into going to a tournament. Again, I believe in the traditional aspects of Tang Soo Do or any martial art. Again, it's more for self-improvement, character building, and improvement of your own physical health. So martial arts is a very personal thing with me and with my students. We're not here to see who the toughest person in the room is. We're not here to demonstrate our techniques in public. Again, all the techniques are done in the studio and under very controlled conditions. But again, martial arts means a military art. So in training, I know that my students can defend themselves in a street situation. So again, martial arts, I feel, should be more of a traditional way of life. Again, there are many different roads to the top of the mountain. I have chosen the path of traditional training. Some others have chosen the path of tournament participation. But again, over the years, I have seen many tournament participators drop out of the martial arts. They lose interest. And many of the students who have stayed with the traditional aspects of the martial arts are still practicing 20, 30 years later. And again, I think that can sum up my philosophy on the martial arts. It is an individual thing. If you are seeking instruction at any martial arts school, a couple of points you might remember. Number one, make sure whosever name is on the front door of the studio, make sure that's the person teaching you and not someone who's only been there 6 months longer than you. Point number 2 is that you should always be allowed to come in and observe training before you make a decision. If the instructor says we do not allow visitors, then I would be very hesitant about signing up at that studio. And the third point is, and there are a lot of people who may not agree with me, but my philosophy is try to avoid signing a contract. From a personal point of view, if a student is going to be there to train, fine. If they're not going to be there to train, there's nothing you can do about it. So in summation, again, number 1, make sure whoever name is on the front door of the studio, make sure that's the person teaching you. Point number 2, try to observe some classes in training before you make a decision. And the third point is try to avoid signing a contract, because you may not like the instruction there at the studio for whatever reason. And if you did sign a contract, you're legally bound to fulfill that contract. But again, these are my own views. Well, I've done many things with my martial arts training. I think one of the greatest goals is achieving these videos with Panther Productions. But again, some of my other goals were promoting very good students to black belt ranking. It's a real good feeling for myself to see a person not only progress to first degree black belt, but to also second, third, and even fourth degree black belt. Again, that's probably one of the best accomplishments I have ever done with Tang Soo Do. And it is my goal someday to maybe turn the studio over to a very competent senior student and kind of stand back and watch that student take the studio to new heights. But martial arts has been very good to me mentally and physically, and I've grown a lot in the martial arts over the many years. And again, I could never have done this without, again, thanking my instructor, Grandmaster Zhong Li. Well, again, if you wish to succeed in the martial arts, you have to be very consistent with your training. You can't go in with the attitude of, okay, I'm here, I expect to be an expert within 5 or 6 weeks. It does not happen that way. You have to put the time into your training. You have to sweat, and on the way you're going to have a lot of, well, maybe not a lot, but you're going to have some injuries along the way, a lot of discomfort. But if you wish to become proficient in any martial art, you have to pay your dues. You have to be there. You have to go through all the training. And most important of all, listen to your instructor. That's why you're there to learn. And always speak well of your instructor, especially when you're away from the studio. And always speak well of all martial artists. It's, again, martial arts is a way of life. It does take time. And in order to expand and grow, you have to be consistent with your training and set a good example for not only yourself, but for the other students at the studio. Tang Soo Do Mudo Kwan. Tang Soo Do means way of the China hand. Just as the word karate means way of the China hand, the Korean Tang Soo Do means way of the China hand. Mudo Kwan means the Institute of Martial Virtue. So you study the way of the China hand at the Institute of Martial Virtue. I hope you observe watching the following videotape. Again, with any videotape, whether it is Tang Soo Do or any other martial art, supplement that tape with your existing knowledge in the martial arts. Again, keep in mind that when you're practicing this martial art or any martial art, safety should always come first. So hopefully you will, again, continue your study of Tang Soo Do through the videotapes, But remember, it is most important to train in a studio or a dojang. Nothing can supplement your training better than in a dojang, but hopefully these tapes that you have just observed will increase your knowledge in the art of Tang Soo Do. Again, I wish you the best of luck in all your martial arts training, and if you ever have to get in touch with me, you can do so through Panther Productions. Kamsahamnida.